ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया आस्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरिविश्रुवं ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानगणः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Bhagavad Gita was taught in the battlefield. And in a way, every human mind seems to be the one battlefield. And therefore it is very much applicable to us also. It is said it's a blessing to be born as a human being. In whichever way you look at it, if you look at it from Darwinian theory point of view, evolution took millions of years to have a human body, for human body to evolve. And if you look at it from the scriptural perspective, and they say 84 lakhs of species of birth, and one of them is human. It's rare. Blessings. Blessings because we are blessed with an antakaranam, which is uninhibited. Antakaranam, which it says, there is a Vakya in Veda, Purushetu avistara atma, wherein the expression of the self, manifestation of the self as though is total. These blessings called the mind in English, actually we call it antakaranam. It is an extraordinary power. Itself converts my life into a battle. And it is a battlefield. If you look at the other species, birds and animals, etc., it becomes quite clear that they just want to survive and propagate the species. And once that need is satisfied, they seem to be comfortable with themselves. They seem to be relaxing with themselves. That we need not go far. In India you have all the cows and buffaloes on the road, relaxing, they have their ways of enjoying. These needs are satisfied. When it comes to human being, there is always something more than survival and propagation. Because there is a self-awareness which is total, and antakaranam being the platform for this self-awareness, he or she finds in that self-awareness a self which is not complete, which is not happy. How? Nobody knows. This is Maya. Right from childhood, there is one discovery. The day buddhi opens up, self-identity starts, the discovery is I am dukhi. And second conclusion, that is also sahajam, janmana sahajayate, born with the birth. That happiness or completeness lies somewhere outside me. In the same platform which draw a conclusion that I am unhappy, has another conclusion that happiness is somewhere outside. And thus, endless search for objects, people, situations starts. No mother teaches a baby, hey baby, you be happy in toys. Somehow conclusion is there. I'll be happy if I have some toys, something outside me. And there is a conclusion also that I am dissatisfied. This wanting self This unhappy self is the source of all conflicts. In terms of what to pursue and what not to pursue. These all activities are twofold, as it is called in Sanskrit, pravrutti and nivrutti. Going after something to acquire something, or to run away from something to avoid something. Can be person, can be situation, can be some objects. And the basis for this is subjective values. These values are gathered in the course of birth, in the course of growing up, and some values are brought forward from previous life as well. Though the search is subjective, what one looks for, the other person may not look for. What one wants to avoid, the other person may want it, within a different way, whatever. But it is not for the sake of a thing, or a sake of a person, or the sake of a situation, human being is pursuing that. The bottom line is, I want to see myself as a happy, comfortable, at home with myself. As it is said by Yajnavalkyaji very nicely, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam idam priyam bhavati. Whatever is dear is for that self which is most dear. That self wherein I find myself a content person. That self where I see myself a self-satisfied at home person. Tasya kamaya, tasya atmanah kamaya, sarvam priyam bhavati. And that self which is most unwanted, dissatisfied, anything that shows me that image, I don't want. That is apriya karana. So, all the pursuits are undertaken in terms of pravrutti and nivrutti are only meant for this. Now, this creates conflict, plus there is another thing, as I said, it is a blessing to be born as a human being. And what just now Pujya Swamiji quoted, Matta smrutihi apohanamcha, 15th chapter verse. There is something called well-developed memory, which is again missing if you look at their behavior of animals and birds. The self-memory or world memory is missing. Street puppies may seem to be playing together with their siblings. After some time they forget who the siblings are. Or even a bird forgets who their parents are. Forget about the siblings. Parents also they forget. They don't relate with the parents the way they related when they were babies. Since there is a well-developed memory, somehow memory works in such a way that what I want to remember I can't, and what I want to forget, that only comes to mind. More so this is discovered in the seat of meditation. More so when you are in Rishikesh, when you are in bed at night alone, then these things come. That memory is also twofold. Memory of the objects, situation outside, and there is a very strong memory of the self also. All the conclusion that I drew about myself based on past experiences, they quite often overshadow the present. and creates further conflicts. So the life is, in a way, full of conflict, battlefield. Either charge like an army or retreat. Charging for some situations and objects and people, and retreat from everything, hoping to be comfortable with myself. That is again hope all the time. Now, the purpose of human birth is to discover this problem. That generally conclusion is drawn, the situation and people and objects are problem to me. Just as I said in the beginning, there is a sahaja, natural conclusion that happiness lies somewhere outside. Very beautifully told by Lord Yamraja in Kathopanishad, Paranchi khani vetranat swayambhuhu tasmat parang pashyati nantara. You look out for happiness. There is a conclusion where happiness lies, subjective conclusion. Similar conclusion also is there. I am unhappy because of this. That is also outside. And therefore, human being is always busy in restructuring the world, obtaining world outside himself or herself. To discover the fact whether I rearrange here or even hereafter. The promises of hereafter is also same. That I will be at home there, if not here. Any kind of rearrangement is not going to solve my problem. This discovery itself, I would say, is a purpose or fulfillment of human birth. And that, whether clear understanding about this problem or some vague uneasiness with myself as to what I am doing, not being comfortable with myself, as such each one is not. But there is a feeling that I did all this, but there is, in a typical Indian way, there is a shanti nahi hai. There is no peace. Everything I have, but I don't have peace. Even that vague understanding gives a right direction to all human pursuit. It may happen that person may not have any kind of such thinking also. But if you are in India, getting stuck with some Swami talking Vedanta, that Swamiji makes you see the thing, yeah, there is some problem. Then the pursuit gets a proper direction. Till then, I would say, human life is like that Columbus, wanting to come to India and going towards USA. He landed up there and he wanted to come here, wanting to be at home with myself and trying to restructure the world outside. This understanding that this is not going to solve is the greatest gift or grace of the Lord. That's the first step. What prompts one to discover or see this, in which situation, varies from person to person. But it is certainly a grace, either by oneself, one finds, as Pujya Swamiji would say, There is no connection between what I want and what I am doing. I have been doing charge or retreat. In other words, rearranging the world outside. It has no connection to what I want, a self which is self-satisfied, self which is comfortable. And if at all, if you want to say there is a connection, connection is only momentarily. For some moments, experientially, there is a feeling that I am okay, I am happy, I am satisfied, when the desired end is achieved. But that's not what actually I want. I don't want to be self-satisfied for some moments. I want to be self-satisfied for all the time. At all places, under all circumstances. So there is no connection whatsoever between what I am pursuing, doing, and what is that I am wanting. That discovery, as I say, is nothing but grace. And as I said, it can happen anywhere, anytime. Unfortunately or fortunately, it happened to Arjuna right in the middle of the battlefield. What a prarabdha. He was with Krishna, Lord Krishna, all these years. And he had lived in forest twice, not once, 12 years. And if you see Mahabharata, there is description, so many rishis they met. Well-known rishis they have met. But in absence of this discovery, as Pujya Swamiji would say, discerning the problem, not having discerned the problem, he did not ask the right question. On the contrary, asked for different astra-shastras to settle account with Duryodhana. He wanted more power. He wanted more fame. He never asked for this. Though they were available to teach. There were forests in India those days. Now I may have doubts. But there were forests and there were saints living there. They were structured. For some of you who are coming for the first time, I'll just some of you Indians I know, they know right from childhood. Just briefly we'll see the background. Pandavas had asked for the legitimate share of the kingdom, but Duryodhana refused that you can fight it out and have it. At the time of the battle, when they're taking the stock of the strength and weaknesses, who are the warriors and what is their strength and who are in our field and etc. At that time, Arjuna was led to one type of thinking. Though it started with some emotional paralysis, he developed, seeing his relatives there. But somehow he stumbled upon this basic question. First he refused that I don't want to fight because it was a family feud in a way. And he saw his teachers and elders in the other army and got too emotional and refused to fight. Then as a friend or his cousin, Lord Krishna, who happened to be his charioteer, advised him that you should fight. And certain words that he used, Klaivyam Masmagam Mupartha, etc., really shook him. And then he somehow, that's a grace. Why he thought like this at that time? Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachhokamuchoshanamindriyana. I don't see the solution to this basic problem of self-dissatisfaction. Avapya trailokyasya asapatnam rajyam. This battle is for the kingdom here. But suppose even if I am offered the kingdom of all the three lokas, including heaven, and the kingdom which has no enemies left, even that prapti, that acquisition, is not going to solve this problem. And then he says, Yat shreyasyat nishchitam bruhitam. O Lord Krishna, tell me Shreyas. Shreyas means to discover self which is complete. The Shreyas means the knowledge. Give me that knowledge. The self that I am seeking is myself, is not something to be found outside. Teach me that. And he asks, Shadhi Mam, please teach me. Tvam prapannam, I am surrendering to you. And he assumed the role, Shishyasteham. So far, I was your cousin or brother-in-law or friend or whatever roles, various roles I played. Now, I am Shishya. I am your disciple, surrendering unto you. Please teach. This discovery happened to Arjuna how or why? That is very clear when you see the first chapter, utterances of Arjuna. The whole structure, cultural structure of forms, or the whole Vedic way of living, in which we can say in one word, Varnashram dharmas. Veda talking about certain karmas, certain duties, and certain attitudes. They are all meant only and only to lead one to this discovery. That what I am seeking is the self. In other words, they are meant to lead one to seek Shreyas, seek this knowledge, to work for a totally satisfied, happy self. That I want that, to discern this problem. Whole Varnashrama is there. To identify the problem. Arjuna happened to have lived a life of Vedika. And in one word we can say life of duty. Life of Bhayam. Bhayam from whom? Who is afraid of the Lord. Which Lord? Karma Phalda. Bhaya for Papa. He was always afraid, or not say not afraid, but conscious not to commit sin. If you read the first chapter, he didn't withdraw that he was afraid that he may lose or die. There was no fear of death. There was no fear of losing. All along he keeps telling, Ahogat mahat papam kartum vyavasitavaya. Oh, we are here to commit a great sin. Papam eva shrayad asman hatvaitan atataina. Sin will come. All these verses is very conscious not to commit a sin. In other words, as they say in vernacular language, dharma bhirhu. Always lived a life of dharma and afraid of adharma. Wanted to keep up. So, Vedic lifestyle should lead to discover this problem, and that is the purpose of human life. And not only discover the problem, but to understand also. There is one more step. That orientation to search for the solution outside me doesn't go, in spite of the discovery. They always look for some state, something, some going by which the fellow feels that I will be permanently happy. That's why these concepts of heaven, eternal heaven are there. That's why they have concept of going to some lokas and then merging with the Lord and be happy permanently. Outside me. The vision which just now Pujya Swamiji said in the beginning itself while giving his blessing, in one sentence they say, very famous, I am sure most of you know, Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. Tat means that. Tvam means you are. What that? That which you are seeking. That self-satisfied self, that Purna, complete happiness, happy self, is thy nature. Is not something to be acquired. It is right you, not even with you. It is right yourself. The obtaining self is dissatisfied, incomplete, and the scripture says the self is complete. A typical case like our Rajju Sarpa. One same object is referred by two persons. One says it is snake, another says it's rope. Same object. Either of them can be right, both can be right. Or one can be more right, as Pujya Swamiji would say. Naturally, both are not right because snake and rope is not a synonym. Same is the case here. So the person who sees as it is, sees a rope as a rope, will tell, hey, what you see as a snake is nothing but rope. Similarly, what I see myself as a dissatisfied, incomplete self is nothing but Purna self. It is right myself. That means the whole process is of self-discovery, in other words, self-knowledge. No pravrutti or nivrutti is involved. It is something to understand, something to know, because, as they say, it is praptasya prapti. Nothing to be acquired, which is acquisition of something which is already acquired. Not even acquired, which is myself. Now this knowledge to take place. There is another second change. First, discerning the problem. And second, the solution is not again somewhere outside. It is not something to be acquired, some state of mind or some loka. It is something to know. In other words, first to understand that I am a mumukshu, and then conversion of mumukshu into jignasu is also a grace. Maybe person may not have that much clarity, but then some indirect knowledge may be there. Born in this culture, some hears. Like Naradji telling to Sanat Kumaras, Bhavadbhya etat shrutam maya tarati shoka mahatma. I have heard something like that. So please tell me. Or Maitreyi telling to Yajnavalkya. In same way Arjuna tells that teach me. So to understand, in other words, to become a mumukshu and to become a jignasu, and for the knowledge to retain that knowledge, one requires a specific frame of mind. True, the fundamental problem is ignorance. But discovering the problem is mumukshu. Discovering the right means is jignasu. And finding a proper teacher and studying and assimilating the knowledge requires a special mindset that is called as karma yoga, means to gain that way. This is a special knowledge, altogether different. All other knowledge, the difference is here, basic, fundamental difference. In any other discipline of knowledge, knower, I do not want to become the known. The difference between the knower and known continues. Person may study physics and particles, he doesn't want to be a particle. Or he must study the zoology and doing research on donkey. He doesn't want to be. Maybe by behavior, but doesn't want to be one. He may be. People may be calling him, but doesn't want to be. Here, what I want to know is not just simply I am interested in knowing there is some Atma which is Ananda Swarupa. I want to be. Knower wants to be the known. It's a different knowledge. It requires a special kind of antakarana. Therefore, if that necessary antakarana is not there, person may have a proper teacher in teaching, but still he or she cannot hold the knowledge. Holding the knowledge means cannot see through, cannot assimilate the things, cannot own it up. The typical but will come, Swamiji, I know I am Ananda, but what is then but if you know then? Where is but involved? That but business will continue. Like typical story, this government keeps telling our ministers, that people should go to villages. The other day, Harkar Lakshman, this cartoonist, gave a very beautiful cartoon. Minister, so-and-so minister says, industrialists should go to villages. So-and-so minister says, technocrats should go to villages. So-and-so minister said, doctors should go to villages. And this fellow was reading on the front with 3 items. And the car was stopped because of traffic jam. And the jam was because the buffalo was sitting in the middle of the road. So this fellow said, I hope some minister tells them also to go to villages. I wish that those fellows also go to villages. This fellow was doctor, newly studied and went to village with his spouse. Idealistic, I want to serve, blah, blah, blah. And for the first 2 days they had carried those McDonald's and KFC stuff. Second, third day she started cooking. There was no gas pipeline, they needed a charcoal. And she said, but as he was reading the old Times of India, which he had brought from metro, she told him, hey, come on, go and bring some charcoal so that I can light the fire. He went. Next door lady, come on, give me charcoal. She brought. He said, have you brought the vessel? He says, no, but then he brought out from the jeans that Times of India, charcoal, give me this. He can hold it for the moment, but cannot take it to home. It will fall up, burn the paper. It will not lit the fire. That charcoal cannot lit the fire in his home. Similarly, teaching cannot lit this fire if mind is not ready. It can hold till the fellow turns and wear the chappals, that is gone. Brahman is gone and all other things comes. So, 2 things Lord found the disciple who was in a battlefield, both internal, external, not exactly ready to assimilate, kept on emphasizing the Yoga Shastra right from beginning. So Bhagavad Gita deals with 2 topics, which we usually chant at the end of every chapter. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra. Brahma Vidya means self-knowledge and Yoga Shastra. Shastra means the means to prepare myself for the knowledge. Yoga Shastra was not there, not told to discover the basic problem, because already had discovered. Much less to discover the right means, because he knew what's the right means. He didn't say, teach me some yoga and pranayama and take me to some loka. He says, Shreyasyat nishchitam bruhi. Very clear, bruhi, please teach me. And he revealed himself to be a disciple. Shishyastayam shadi mam tvam prapanna. So he knew, Arjuna knew what is the right means and what is the problem. But still, in spite of teaching, he may not be able to assimilate the knowledge. That's what Lord felt. Therefore, even in the second chapter, having described the wise man, he tells, you better act. And that's how the question starts in the third chapter. All along, various chapters, he has been dealing with both Brahma Vidya, revealing the nature of the self, and telling him about the attitudes. Yoga Shastra means more is of attitude, not simply karmas. Attitudes while performing the karma. No doubt there is an emphasis on karma, niyatam kuru karmatvam, etc. But attitudes are emphasized. Goes up to the 12th chapter, and as they say, from 13th onwards, lot of verses, especially 13, 14, 15, are verses which reveals the identity between this limited self and the Lord, that is Paroksha, total. I am Aham Purna, that is being revealed. That individual who finds himself or herself as self-dissatisfied, who looks for happiness somewhere outside, in English called as ego, in Sanskrit called ahankara, and can be called as karta bhokta. There is a sense of doership, sense of enjoyership. The doer plans what to do, how to do, what to get, the goals. And the enjoyer wants the pleasures to be complete. The same I. Should that Lord reveals in the 13th chapter itself, saying that thou art, you are non-separate from the total. The first verse begins with saying, idam shariram kaunteya kshetramitya vidiyat. Yeah, Arjuna, this body is called as kshetram. So many reasons. Kshetra means a field. Field serves two purposes, where you gain the crop and you sow the crop. Both things are there in the field. This is the field for what? Gaining the crop of punya bhava. Sukha dukha bhoga ayatana. And again in this janma you add to new crop. Sukha dukha punya bhava. Both are there. And he says, idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityad vidiyat. Etadyo vekti tam prahu kshetra. There is one knower who knows this body. Kshetrajna. Knower of kshetra is kshetrajna. The very second verse he says, kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Oh Arjuna, know that all kshetrajnas are me. That means when we see there are so many of us, that not many, only one appears as many. The vision of the whole starts revealing. The same vision is told in the 15th chapter. This chapter is quite popular for 2-3 reasons. Of course, what Pujya Swamiji said, it is in whole of north of India you will find this is chanted before you take your Bhiksha. Because there are verses which reveals this is nothing but an elaboration of what was said in the 4th chapter. Brahmarpanam brahmahavihi brahmagno brahmanahutam brahmaivatena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Same thing is elaborated, saying this, the food that is eaten is Lord, the means by which it is eaten is Lord, and the eater is also Lord. Brahma Karma Samadhi. And there is a discussion about the creation, discussion about the adhikari, qualified student for this knowledge, revelation about the nature of the self and nature of the Lord. So it's though short, of consisting of 20 verses, it's a complete chapter. So much so, Lord Himself calls this chapter as Shastra. In the last verse, 15th chapter, last verse, He says, this is Shastra. This is a scripture. What Pujya Swamiji said, this is the Vedic vision, this is Hinduism, this is the purpose of the whole culture, what? Discover the wholeness. That has been very briefly told in these 20 verses of the 15th chapter. Therefore people study as though it is an essence of all that is said in Bhagavad Gita. That thing, that whole chapter, we shall start study over from the next class. And I am sure you have these papers, 15th chapter verses are given to you, along with transliteration as well as the translation. So, and you have those Shanti mantras also, transliteration. We shall start the study from the next class. And there is a little announcement. Today there is a slight change regarding the second class. Though our regular schedule will be 11:30 to 12:30, today it will be at 11 o'clock. Okay? And we'll conclude by 12. One Mahamandaleshwarji is coming. He will also bless. He happens to come to here to meet us. He is one of our board member of Acharya Sabha, very prominent Acharya. And he is the head of an institution which is almost 300 plus years old. And very big institution in Haridwar, well respected and accepted in the tradition. Swami Vishweshwaranandji, Sannyas Ashram head. And he hosted our second Acharya Sabha in Bombay. We have a place in Bombay also, Parla. So he will just talk for 15-20 minutes, bless us, then we'll continue with the class today. Okay? So 11, and there is a mention about yoga and Sanskrit class. So now we have 2 yoga classes, okay? 2 batches, not 2, because some are beginners and some want something advanced. So from 9:45 to 10:30 will be first batch, and 10:30 to 11:15. Today up to 11 there will be second batch. So those who want to go for advanced yoga class can go for that. And Sanskrit class timings as of now will remain same. Though there was a suggestion to work out some change during the last camp, because if you go for yoga you miss Sanskrit, and if you take Sanskrit you miss yoga. So let us see tomorrow how we work out. In the evening we'll look into it. But so advanced yoga students, those who have had some exercises in yoga during the last camp, may go after 10:30. Okay? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru